You ever try closing your eyes in a pitch black room? Like a basement with 0 windows?
Oh, yeah. Total darkness.
Right. You expect to just see black, but sometimes it's like, well, the darkness is so absolute it feels thick,
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah, like it has an actual physical weight pressing against your eyes.
Exactly.
Your brain fundamentally rejects that kind of void, you know? Like in total sensory deprivation, the mind starts frantically manufacturing flashes of light or abstract shapes just to avoid dealing with complete nothingness.
Wow. Just to avoid the void. Well, okay, let's unpack this because that panic's feeling of staring into a void that just stares right back.
Yeah.
That is exactly where we're starting this deep dive today.
It's a heavy start.
It really is. You sent us a stack of sources, and right on top is this brand new poem, dated literally yesterday, June 1st, 2026.
Right. Rent Blossoms by Christopher Grindle.
Yeah. And our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack this specific text. We're going to figure out how Grindle drags you through, like, complete existential emptiness.
All to try and answer whether human effort actually matters.
Yes. And even includes this strange author note, right, about detachment, different lighting, etc., to set this very moody stage before you even read the first line.
And those opening lines drop you right into that heavy darkness we were just talking about.
Yeah, he asks what it's like in a dark hole where even the black has no substance.
Which is such a vivid image. Then he describes these masked marauders passing into nothingness. He isn't just setting a scene here.
No, not at all.
He's deliberately stripping away your sensory anchors, you know, so you feel just as lost and disoriented as the speaker does.
It totally makes me think of dropping a stone into the deep ocean at night. Like 1 second it's there, and then just total erasure.
Boom, gone.
Right. But then he drops this massive challenge right in your lap. The text asks, will you mourn the passing of your contribution?
That's the core of it.
Yeah. If there is, quote, never finding solution, are we supposed to read this as our entire human legacy just being completely meaningless?
Well, what's fascinating here is how the text pivots right at that exact moment of maximum despair.
Oh.
Yeah, the author moves away from seeking a worldly solution, meaning, you know, he stops trying to build a tangible legacy or fix the physical world, and instead he starts seeking absolution.
So letting go of the earthly footprint entirely.
Exactly. It shifts the narrative from what we achieve physically on Earth to how we actually find inner spiritual peace amidst all that void.
So wait, here's where it gets really interesting. If we're pivoting to seeking inner peace, how does the poem justify its sudden leap to honoring a higher power, honoring him?
Right, because true absolution, well, at least in this specific text, it requires an external source.
Okay.
The shift is psychological. When you realize you can't construct anything permanent on Earth before fading into that dark ocean you mentioned.
The focus turns inward.
Inward and then upward. The poem frames this as a necessary humbling. I mean, we are described as pompous and unworthy, basically trapped in a cycle where we know we're just going to fail again.
I had to push back here, though. If you're listening to this and thinking, well, that sounds incredibly depressing, you aren't alone.
It is heavy.
Yeah. If Grindle is saying human failure is mathematically guaranteed, that feels totally defeatist. Like, why shouldn't a reader just throw their hands up and quit?
I get that, but it's because of the theological framework he introduces to counter that exact despair.
The forgiveness aspect.
Yes. The cycle of human failure is met constantly by unconditional divine forgiveness. He explicitly says, and he forgives.
Right, right.
The text is basically arguing that if your motivation to try again comes from your own sheer willpower or pride, you will eventually burn out.
You're going to quit.
Exactly. The fuel has to come from outside yourself.
Oh, so the line, yet because he lives, you live, that's the battery.
You hit the nail on the head. You don't try again because you think you'll magically get it perfect the next time around.
You try again because grace allows you to survive the failure. So what does this all mean practically? Because he ends the poem with this sudden burst of physical imagery, right?
Moving from the abstract to the tangible.
Yeah, he talks about a season that will bloom bright and rent, displaying over-vibrant colors.
Right.
The word rent just feels so violent for a poem about grace. Why use that specific imagery instead of, I don't know, just a pretty flower?
Because it's intentional damage. Rent means violently torn or pulled apart. It's the physical manifestation of that exact failure we were just talking about.
Oh, wow. Like a battered flower after a massive storm.
Exactly.
It's missing petals, the stem is totally bent, but because it survived, because it was given that grace to keep going, its colors somehow seem even more vibrant against the gray sky than a perfect untouched flower would.
Yeah. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it sets up the psychological paradox in that final line.
Where he says these torn blossoms will pass away like nothing ends.
Exactly.
Passing away, but nothing ends. That is a wild contradiction to end on.
It really speaks to the unbreakable machinery of nature and grace. I mean, the individual flower, the specific human life, or, your specific daily effort, it dies, it passes away.
Right.
But the cycle of glooming, failing, being forgiven, and blooming again, that machinery is infinite. The individual is temporary, but the pattern is eternal.
Wow. It's quite a journey for such a short text, dragging you from a dark hole with zero substance through the harsh reality of our own guaranteed failures.
And finally landing on a beautifully battered, over-vibrant flower.
Fueled purely by resilience and grace.
It forces you to completely rethink the weight of your own actions. Like, if the cycle is forever, your part in it actually matters, even if it's brief.
Which leaves you with a final question to chew on.
Go for it.
If we accept the poem's premise that every beautiful, vibrant thing you contribute will eventually pass away like nothing ends, does the temporary, fragile nature of your daily efforts make them more precious or less?
That's the big question.
Next time you find yourself staring into a pitch-black room, wondering if your contribution even matters, remember that torn blossom.